That's right. I am your host, Jessica Koch, and this is Profound Professionals. This interview series has been running for almost 8 years. So long, my tongue gets twisted talking about it. Can you believe it? You've been following, you've been liking, you've been sharing, commenting, and we are so grateful that you do that. It warms our heart. And guess what? You get to be a hero just by hitting share, because you never know whose life you may be impacting. Who needs to hear this message? Who needs to hear about this book, this cause, this book, this program, what's happening in these amazing individuals' lives. So we are going to meet some brilliant, amazing industry experts. We have been featuring industry experts globally that help improve your personal life or grow your business for all these years from all over the world. And today we have just a room packed full of them. We have Maria. Maria stands out as a leader who brings a fresh approach to her roles as a CEO in Manfredi Consulting Group and the founder of PurRia. And so, hello, Maria.
Hi, Jessica. Thanks for having me on.
I know there's so many of us. I want to make sure they know which one's Maria, right? So which one's that? Lonnie. Lonnie is surrounded by the gorgeous women today. Lucky guy, Lonnie. So Lonnie is a wanderlust. Yeah, you heard me say it. Wanderlust. Lonnie is going to say it more than once because it's just fun. A wanderlust who brings passion to people's lives using various different means. So if that doesn't make you scratch your head and go, huh, then you're not paying attention. I'm just saying, you're not paying attention. So, hello, Lonnie.
Hello. Very excited to be here. This is going to be fun.
He's the male, the token male in the room, bringing the wanderlust to the community here. That's all I'm going to say about that. All right. And then we have Eva, saving the best for last. As always, Eva is an award-winning transformation catalyst, intuitive, so yes, she just might know what you're thinking, and business mentor. So welcome, Eva.
Hi, great to be here.
All right, well, you know what? They're going to be in the hot seat, fresh and powerful, because guess what? I forgot to give them the rest of the run of show. So some of these questions are going to catch them off guard, and they're going to look at me like, oh, wait, I need to have an answer for that. But you know what? I have faith in them. You have faith in them. They're going to do great. I just know it. So we're going to start with Maria. We'll go in order as how we introduce them. Maria, share with us a little bit about what it means to be the CEO of Manfredi Consulting Group and PurRia, and so much more that I am not pronouncing properly, so that you can share with us what all of that means.
Yeah, sure. So it feels so empowering to be a leader in today's society. I am just so thankful for the opportunity in 2024 to be a CEO, to lead my company. So we have the consulting firm and we have our clean candle company. And funny enough, both of those companies came to fruition post-COVID era. And I think during that time in lockdown, we all kind of maybe sat around with our thoughts or got creative and thought, okay, what's next in my life? And so I just really, prayed about it, put my faith into it, and here we are.
So tell us about what you do in the consulting and a little bit more about the candles.
Yeah, so the Manfredi Consulting Group is a consulting firm that helps med tech and OTC drugs and cosmetic companies remain compliant and bring their products to market. So we work in the regulatory space and work with the government, so specifically with the FDA, the EU, and really we are on the forefront of precipice with new technology coming out. We hear a lot about AI, right? We have new cosmetic ingredients coming out, and new, just everything is merging with technology. So I think we're at the right place at the right time. And being a millennial leader, I'm leveraging platforms such as Fiverr, such as Upwork, where people can contact me directly and people can see my reviews live in real time. And so a lot of our customers are small business companies in America and actually throughout the world. And it's really rewarding. And so within the past year, we were able to help an artificial intelligence device, build their regulatory strategy. How are they going to tell FDA, hey, approve my device for the market? And this technology is going to help women with fertility issues. And so that speaks more dearly to my heart too. So we're helping people. Okay, so I'm going to flip the script. So PurRia Apothecary. So I'm going to blame this whole business idea on my husband. He got me a candle kit for Christmas, and I started digging too deep, and I realized all the chemicals we have in our candles are a no-go. So I said, okay, Google, give me a clean candle company. Couldn't find one, so here we are. So we have candles that are made in the United States with American-based soy wax, with pure essential oils only. And we have shower steamers that also can be used as a bath bomb. So it's a 2-in-1 situation, and wax melt. So it's really pure. And I ended up getting my herbalism certificate too. And so working in regulatory, so it's very synergetic. So, understanding what happens in the human body when we put an implant in, hip and knees and different things like that, I realized what chemicals can actually do to the body. And so that's why I'm super passionate about the PurRia Apothecary side. So I'm having fun. I'm not busy enough. So we are actually in almost 10 stores nationwide for PurRia Apothecary. I can say my business name right.
I wasn't going to try. So I'm glad you stumbled on it better than me.
I'm going too fast for my brain. Yeah, I'm just excited to be here. So with PurRia, we are in one of the largest organic stores here in St. Augustine, Florida. Shout out to Diane's Market for giving us a shot. And so we're here, we're global, we're ready to rock and roll.
I love that. And, I love that you mentioned Fiverr and Upwork, because one of the things we started 5 years ago prior to the world shifting was a virtual assistant membership program. So we have about 100 VAs globally that help our clients all over the world, because you should not be doing it all on your own. You really do need help. And I have a great contact for you, Maria. I'm in a really high-end mastermind. I mean, some of these people are making literally $1 million a month, $100,000 a month, $250,000 a month. And one of them actually helps take a product from idea, inception, to the market. So placing it in Walmarts and Targets and dollar stores throughout the country and more, right? Yeah. So I think he would be a great collaboration person to meet and talk with. And I met him in this group. So hold tight. We're going to come back to you. We're circling around the world because we got to go to Wanderlust Guy. Who doesn't want to talk to him? All right, Lonnie, how did you decide you were going to light the passions of the world, and how exactly are you doing it? And can we really talk about it here?
Well, very exciting. You asked for something to describe what I do, and kind of truly it's wanderlust, and that just means a little bit of everything. My background is I used to do radio. I worked for Disney. Actually met my wife at Disney. So yes, dreams do come true. And found my wife there, and
when she sings, do birds show up?
Oh, absolutely. Well. It depends on if I'm in trouble or not. Birds,
yes. Then the wolves will show up.
Then we get a little bit of Jafar going on or something like that. But what they say kids change your life. So kids changed mine. I have identical twin daughters that are millennials. So I'm older than millennials. So Maria, congratulations on being a CEO in the millennial world, because I'm much older than that. But my daughters are graduating college in May, so that's very exciting. But they were actually, speaking of talking about fetal type things and whatnot, is they were actually identical twins that shared a placenta, which is common, but they had a fetal syndrome that came out of that. And they were actually saved by doing in utero surgery, which I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about in a little bit later. Mm-hmm. That led me to the passion of creating an international foundation on one side, on one road. At the time, I was working in venture capital, and my wife and I decided to create an event because, hey, it's children, and we'll be the next biggest thing since Komen. And year one, I can say we were successful when we put on the event is because my wife did not divorce me after the fact. There's 8 million moving parts when you try to do an event. I thought it was going to be easy. It was not anywhere near that. So that led to the foundation in one area, and the other area it led to was I got heavily involved in the event world. And when I say a wanderlust in doing these things that bring passion to people's lives is we now produce these events all over the country for all different types of organizations. So we get to live very altruistically, whether it's the Arthritis Foundation, the American Heart Foundation, NFL teams, whoever's trying to put on some type of run, walk, triathlon, stair climbing.
And still married, right?
And we're still married, yes. We work together. So there you go. We figured out a way to work together. She's my foundation and rocking it all. But it's such a cool thing because what we do is we allow people to really live out their story. Anyone that gets into an event, whether they line up because they're there for the cause, because they're there to lose weight, because they're there because they are battling cancer. We have people that are in their 90s doing this, and that's really the true passion. I kind of like to say we get to be the Obi-Wan Kenobis to everybody Luke Skywalker. We get to kind of set the stage and create this environment for people to shine and see that. One of my favorite sayings is that the finish line is never the end, it's the beginning of what's possible. And we get to see that happen that way. And outside that, so I run that company. I'm a founder of the foundation. I do a lot of speaking, and I still, I mentioned I did radio. I've never met a microphone I haven't loved. So I host some medical shows. I also host, do live hosting. Actually, tonight I'm actually doing an awards ceremony a little bit later on. And I also have an epiphany for making character voices. So I do voiceover work and stuff too. So that's where the wanderlust comes in, because I just love the ability to bring fun to people's lives. And through all the years of doing that's led to certain concepts and formulas, if you will, that I think can help people, whether in their own personal lives or in business, learn ways for success.
I love that. It sounds like you have a lot of fun. So your main product then is, it sounds like you're doing a number of wonderful things, but your main product is to help organizations who are trying to put on fundraising events or any kind of event.
Mostly fundraising events that deal with mass participatory sports. So run, walks, things like that. And what I really say is that where our business is in the truly the world of making the world a better place and showing people their absolute potential.
I love that. I love that. But I just wanted some clarity on who we are speaking to out there so that we can properly attract them, right? So Eva is our intuitive in the room. I love that. And, you know, one of the really profound things I believe that happened as the world shifted, and we all went through that experience, is people became more open and in touch with energy and the universe and how the stars affect them and how we affect each other and how we're all connected, and really open to that side of our hearts, our brain, our spirit, our soul, that does have this natural gifted intuition. It's not just something that Eva can tap into magically with a wand, like in the world of Disney, but it's actually something that you and I can participate in too. Would you agree, Eva?
Absolutely. 100%. You better believe it.
So talk to us about being an award-winning transformational catalyst, an intuitive, and a business mentor. We start our days in kindergarten wanting to be, you know, moms, teachers, doctors, lawyers, firefighters, and race car drivers. Not too many of us go, you know, I think I'm really going down that transformational catalyst intuitive path. That's what I want to be when I grow up. So how did you get there? Although maybe the world will change enough that we do say that in kindergarten, but you know, for now, how did you get there?
No, I believe me, I wasn't saying that myself either. But I actually I came through IBM, so I was in sort of a corporate path with IBM, and there was
totally far from the intuitive world, by the way.
So far away, I'm telling you, and I just felt like there's got to be more to life than pushing hardware, you know, or even software for that matter. And I was just looking for where's that meaning coming from? And I happened to decide that because I was working for IBM, that there was nobody better than IBM. And I just felt like if I was going to leave, I would have to go out on my own. And I assumed I was invincible by going out on my own. And corporate does not teach you how to be an entrepreneur, right? And I spent the first 2 years falling on my face. And about that time, I kept saying, there's got to be more to life than this. And my significant other at the time, now my husband, was just starting up a software company. So it was still in the computer industry. But he said, well, until you figure out what you're going to do, come in and run the marketing department of the company. And I thought, how to ruin a relationship in one easy lesson: work with them and live with them. Well, Lonnie has already proved that it can work, and it did for us too. I ended up being there for 10 years, but I did finally get to that point where I wanted to get out. Well, we started to struggle in the company, and that was when I happened to run across this thing called Law of Attraction. Maybe some of you have heard of it. It was directly through Abraham Hicks, was where I learned about it. And then I just started to apply everything that I learned into the company. And we literally went from 5 years of really not even getting paycheck to paycheck at that point in time, to and almost bankrupt, to successfully selling that company for a very hefty sum of money 9 months later. It was just this immediate turnaround. And the day that that company changed hands legally, we were on a 42-foot catamaran in the Grenadine Islands, island hopping with friends. So we were going like not being able to pay our rent to actually selling the company. And that was when I thought I got to get out of high tech and into high people.
So please tell me that your transformation catalyst takes them through the steps that you took to transform the company situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what I do now is I actually decided that this thing called Law of Attraction and energy alignment, that people need to understand this. And that was when I left, and I did go into my own business, which is leading edge coaching. And now my work started out teaching people exactly how to do that, how to tap into your own inner guidance. You are your own best authority when it comes to decision making and yourself, when you learn how to tap into this, right? And I started teaching people how to do that. And then other healers and holistic practitioners and coaches were saying, well, how are you doing it? So it turns out now I'm teaching them how to run their businesses by integrating this in their businesses. And that's what I'm doing today. But it's absolutely something we all have the ability to do. And it's not that difficult to do. You know, we just learn how to get present, get into the present moment, get quiet, and really tap into your heart. It's not up here. Your brain will lie, your heart never lies, right?
You know,
and I teach people how to get into their hearts and really lead from that place.
I absolutely love that. And, you know, I know not everyone, you know, I mentioned this in our green room in our pre-show conversation, is one of the beautiful things about being a United States citizen is our respect for different ways we all think and believe. And I've come to this place in my spiritual journey where I really believe in my meditation and prayer. I can tap in and erase time, because time is something that we put into place, and I can access past, present, and future knowledge and answers. It's almost like the Google minds of all time, past, present, and future. I think that's how some of our greatest minds of all time, being open to receiving and hearing that, were able to be so far ahead of their generations with minds like Einstein and Tesla, and people who are able to see and think things. We're really tapping into, as we're all connected, we're all energy, into just this bigger thing. And I'm a very sales and marketing business girl. I'm really just, you know, stuck my toe in, and no offense, I don't call it this. Other people have called it to me the woo-woo pool, you know, where I'm starting to go, okay, because I was raised more traditional, religious and church and structure and things. And I've started to, you know, stretch my my wings a little in that department. So, and Lonnie will appreciate, I meant to mention after you spoke, and we're going to come back to Lonnie right now, actually, but I have 7 children and 7 grandchildren and 1 cooking. So we're about to have 8 grandkids. One's due in September. So yes, children bring you joy. I'm buried under mountains of it. So our youngest child is 12, and then our next youngest is going to be 26 or 27, one of those. Don't ask me. There's no quiz on birth dates and ages, because they just keep moving. It's a moving target. But there's lots of them, and it's so much fun, and it is wonderful, wonderful. Lonnie, I was going to ask you, what kind of pains do your clients have when they come to you, and what's kind of their customer journey? And then we're going to go to Maria and then Eva with that same question. So keep that cooking in your mind. What is the customer thinking when at the end of the day and their hands are in their head and they're going, oh, I need this solution solved. I must need Lonnie and his amazing team and his brilliant wife, right? They're probably still thinking they need Lonnie's wife, but we'll go with Lonnie since you're here.
I'm more the extrovert, so I'm kind of the puppet.
Yeah.
Great question. When we were reached out to, if I take a classic example of things that we deal with in the event industry or charities and stuff that are looking to put on events and fundraisers, first thing that they always make an assumption of is because they have a cause, everybody's going to get behind it just because there's a cause. The second thing that they make a mistake on is that it's going to be easy, and it isn't. And the third thing that they really kind of tend to make a mistake on is not understanding who their audience really is. Really understanding in this case is who the customer is or who's going to be signing up for their events. And one of the things that I look at, and it's very Disney-esque in this sense, is when we just look specifically, and it can really, the learning factor from this, let me back up, the learning factor of this is really understanding what your event is about or what you're trying to do in any type of thing, what you're trying to do, who you're trying to reach to, and why are you trying to reach out to them. And first thing I kind of do with them is, let me understand what you're trying to accomplish. So first thing from my perspective is I want to try to what I call LLS, learn, listen, and solve. I want to learn everything I can about them. I want to listen to what their pain points are. And I want to see if I've got solutions that can help them out with that. And I don't pretend to be an expert on it, but I'm very well networked. So that's exactly when, obviously, wonderful thing I love about these is I get to meet and expand my Rolodex. And for those of you that are too young to understand what a Rolodex is, it used to be this everybody's numbers on. In this case, your contact list on your mobile phone. But it's a great way to expand out that and bring in a lot of different professionals and things to help them. But initially, we look at how I do this one type of formula. So I talked about LLS. The next thing that I try to get them to do, and this is really something I think you can fit into a lot of everyday applications, whether it's customer service, your own personal life, how you have interpersonal relationships with people. And that is something I call PER squared. And it's a nice little formula. So Einstein, you still got E equals MC squared. I can't take that away from you. But PER squared is something that if I take this and put it into the event perspective, is events need to be personable. Everybody loves to have, what I mean by that, everybody loves to feel like they know somebody on the inside. They like to feel that it's for them. It isn't just cookie cutter, that they're just going through the motions. They want to feel special about it. The second thing that has to be is it's got to be engaging. It's got to have ways to engage and excite people. And the third thing is really the double R, but it's exponential, and you'll see why in a second, is there's got to be something around it that's remarkable, so it becomes remarketable. And that's the exponential piece. I know, obviously, for all of us and the things that we do, we're trying to do marketing, we're trying to get information out there, whether it's our own businesses or our podcasts or whatever it is. It's got to be something that gets people's attention, that they want to keep sharing it and sharing it and sharing it and talking about with other people. And that's where the remarkable piece comes in to be. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You just have to use those kind of formulas and think about things that way. It's very easy when you are doing a business, or in this case, an event. It's very easy to put on the hat. I'm going to put on the hat of race director. And I think, okay, this is what a race director wants and stuff, but we forget what a participant experience is. So when you're a business, you forget what the customer experience is at. You figure your business thing, I'm here to sell you this product. And you're asking me all these questions, and you're questioning about, in this case, if we take Maria, going back to, I'm fascinated by the candle stuff that you did. You found that there was a need, there's a solution for it, but I could be asking, well, how do you know all your stuff? I could be one of those customers, and I'm sure you get them. How do you know all your stuff is chemical free? Have you really done the research? Are you lying to me? You get those emails from people, you get those things. And so how can you, again, try to make it personable? Because unfortunately in today's society, it feels like too often the first response is to attack. And I get a kick out of really taking a negative situation and turn it to a positive situation and taking somebody and then making them, again, it all comes into being, I try to be personable with them, try to understand where they're coming from. I try to engage their situation, be understanding what they're doing. And then I try to be, my remarkableness in solving a client issue is solving that issue and make it remarkable. So I become remarketable, and that they, again, will want to remember me and pass on my information to other people and so forth. So you can kind of see how that PER squared can be used for many, many different things.
And I would imagine that the number one thing that you need to help your clients do is structure a relatable, memorable story that they can feel connected to, because the power of story, in order for it to be repeatable and remarketable and all these things, really has to feel like it's almost their story, making the story of the cause and the nonprofit and the event and the experience their story. Recently, I have been doing some more extensive research into story, and I've read several books. One's Talk Like TED, one's Storyteller's Secrets, one's called 5 Stars, one's called Stories That Stick. Actually, my women's business book club is about to do, that's going to be our next book that we do, is The Stories That Stick by Kendra Hall. And, having that, are you helping these excuse me, organizations work through crafting and presenting a powerful story in your formula and the work you're doing with them?
Yeah, well, I think to add to what you just said, story is absolutely important in anything that you do. Everything. It is always about the story. And the most important thing that you can do, and what I've learned on this, and I can't take credit for this concept, is, and I mentioned a little bit other, is that you are not the hero of your business, and you are not the hero.
No, the client is the hero story.
The client is the hero. You want to be, again, you want to be their guide. Mm-hmm. You want to help show them the way. You want them to be the hero. So just that little bit of changing of thinking changes everything on how you relate to them and how you work with them. And that's so important, because what ends up happening is if I help them be the hero, it kind of, then the catalyst becomes from there, is that if this is in turn of an event and it's charity, and I'm helping them be the hero to their particular event, the people that are attending their event, then they become the guide to those participants and fundraisers, because you're making them the hero. They're not just there to donate and do your event. They're there to be a hero in their own story. So again, it's all exactly, you're right. Storytelling is the most important way. And I love storytelling. I think it's great. And it's not utilized as much as it should be, but it makes it really fun when you're talking to a client, because as soon as you get them with that concept, they get the aha moment.
Well, and with your background in Disney, I could see you storyboarding their events and the hero story for their attendees and the people having the experience, and helping make that story their story and making them the focus and the hero, so that their experience is so profound they'll never miss another event this organization ever puts on, and they'll bring all of their tribe with them. Having that experience, and you must have some great training and knowledge of that whole process from just by osmosis, just by being near the Disney organization. I feel like you have to have some extra fairy dust or that I don't have, that I'm grasping to learn and research and put into practice. So very exciting stuff. Thank you for sharing that, Lonnie.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
All right, Maria. So are we going to talk about the clients that come to you from the consulting group standpoint? Are we going to talk to you about these people who are in love with the beautiful candles, but just know they're not good for their homes or their air or their pets or their children? What are we talking about?
I think we can touch on a little bit of both quickly. Okay. So to your point, Lonnie, the storyboard, and to your point, Jessica, too. So a lot of our clients come to us confused. Mm-hmm. Hey, I have this lip gloss. I have this device. I'm working currently with the ophthalmologist who has a prototype, and he wants to change the way we do over-the-counter eye products. And so where do we start and where do we finish? And so it's painting that picture. And a lot of it is very boring. I'm going to be honest. It's on a Word document, black and white. But I think I've picked up some tidbits here where we can maybe add some illustrations or, make it more 3D or something really fun. And so that's one piece our customers, and I find it interesting where customers already have an idea of the regulatory pathway. And then I switch it up and I'm like, no, we can actually cut that corner because of X, Y, Z. And so, at the end of the day, it's all about making, the least burdensome approach is my concept in our business. The government has its rules and regulations for a reason, to protect our health. And so to the consumer point, I think consumers are really health conscious right now because of social media, because of TikTok. There's this new resurgence of, clean ingredients, organic living. And to your point, Lonnie, someone has asked me, where's your safety data sheets for your essential oils? guess what? I already know what an SDS is because of the medical device community that, I work with. And so I was able to provide that, but I knew to check that, before I went with my supplier. So I think, consumers are getting smart. I think they want something quick, efficient, and someone that's savvy enough to help them.
Maria, I will tell you, we've almost interviewed 1,000 industry experts. We'll be reaching globally that goal before the end of this year. And so she will forgive me for not remembering her name, but one of our interview guests, her profession is to come in to events, summits, business meetings, masterminds for companies, or even one-on-one client meetings. And she sits in the background, and as they have the meeting, live in real time, creates an illustration of the event. So a visual of the meeting, the experience, the event, so that you have that hard black and white written, but you also have this visual experience of what just went on, the panel speakers, and she showed us some examples. It's beautiful and inspiring, and it sparks up and lights up a different part of our brain, right? And so I love that you're thinking about and being inspired live in real time here on how to do things differently to make the mundane part of some of the processes and systems and, things that we must do for business success more engaging, more exciting, more out of the box, and maybe much more impactful. Is my belief is that's my hypothesis, that's what will end up happening with that. So how beautiful is that? Thank you for sharing. Eva, how about you? So what is the client who in the middle of the night, it's 2 a.m., they're Googling, they're seeking solutions, their hands are in their head is in their hands, and they're saying, how come I can't overcome this? I need an Eva in my life. What is happening with your clients when they come?
There's two different ones. There's those I teach to build their businesses with the high-end clients, and then my actual VIP clients. But I will tell you that the clients that I have myself they're very successful, and they've got, I'll just give you a couple of examples. One is a very well-known author that probably you would know. And he also speaks, so he does a lot of traveling. And he's like, he can't seem to get he feels like he doesn't have his act together. When we see him, you'd say, here's this guy who is on top of the world, totally successful.
Right.
And yet he says, I feel like everybody wants a piece of me. He's traveling 50 out of 54 weeks a year.
He needs more staff, more virtual assistants, more team.
There you go. But he also has a wife at home that's not very happy with him. And he's doing all of this speaking. And then on top of that, he has a loved one of his who happens to be an alcoholic, and he's trying to get her into rehab, right? So all this stuff is going on, and they're going, I've got to find my center. They're looking for something, like there's got to be something more. That is one of the things they're saying. All of this success, and there's got to be something more.
Yeah, he needs to grab hold of his life with you and redesign it in the way he'd like his perfect month, quarter, year to be. I love that.
And to be able to find his own center, and to be able to say, what am I willing to say yes to and no to? And it's being able to do that from a place of power and love, because that's what he's feeling like he couldn't do, right? Which completely turned that around for him as well.
It's interesting because it's almost be careful what you wish for, because often people don't really know what they want. And I heard a saying recently, and I wish I could come across it again because I can't seem to reiterate it exactly as well as I heard it, but it comes with the spirit of people who know what they want, even if they don't have it, they have a goal and a direction, are happier than people who don't know what they want. People who don't know what they want, they don't know where they're going. They don't know what they're striving for. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of confusion, and just a lot of unknown and limbo feeling. where people who know what they want begin to build a path and a direction and a plan and a checklist. And, it's all about that, do you know where you want to go for vacation? Then you can start researching, well, how are you going to get there? Plane, train, automobile, or boat? Are you going to, what hotel are you going to stay in? Or is it an Airbnb instead? And, is it a hot location? Is it a cold location? What are you going to pack? Like, you can't have any of that if you don't know what you want. And sometimes we think we want this big thing, this success that he has, but then you need to rewind and step back and say, well, what do you really want your life to look like?
Yes.
And having a coach like you is fantastic to do that journey with.
Oh, yeah, well, thank you. But yeah, that's the VIP side. The other side is work with coaches and healers who want to work with those high-end clients. And for them, it's helping them get over this not good enough. Who am I to work with clients at that level? And I have to remind them that, hey, you're a genius at what you do. You don't have to be at the level that they are, because they're coming to you because they don't have what you are the genius at.
I love that.
It's a beautiful connection that way.
And that one piece is, I recently listened to an audiobook. I was a speaker at an event in Charleston, South Carolina recently, and I was traveling home and I listened to an audiobook. It's called Millionaire Mindset, and it's by T. Harv Eker. And he studied the difference between the way wealthy and successful people think and the people who are stuck their whole lives in, middle class or poverty level, and what their kind of money blueprints and self-worth blueprints were. And he shares 17 ways that the wealthier think that are much drastically different than others, and then teaches the questions to ask about your blueprint, your money story, and how to reprogram that, all of that. I think you would love to work through that book with your group and your audience, because
I'm very familiar with that book. Yes.
It's fantastic. I love it. I was very excited to stumble upon that just at the right moment, just at the right time. Isn't it great how that happens? All right. So we are going to go to tips. So we are going to start with Maria. Give us a tip that can help everyone listening today do something better in their world. What's a tip that you could share with us?
The tip I have for everyone is start using AI. We have free tools right now, right in front of us, that we can leverage, that we don't have to, you don't have to know how to code. You just ask ChatGPT something. So for example, help me build a menu plan with these ingredients, or with business, I'm struggling to write this email, help me word it properly. Give it a tone, give it a professional tone, give it a witty tone. It's helped me so much. Artificial intelligence, just my day-to-day, has streamlined my day. I'm a mom of 2 kids. They're in, my son's in sports. And so, yeah, I'm very busy. And so it's just nice to be able to use these tools, and it's only going to get better. So
I love that. AI, don't wait, run to the nearest AI to support you. And someone said to me, oh, AI is cheating. Oh, AI is, it's not real. It's not good. And I said, well, think about it. And this will be you're too young for this, Maria, but more wise people in my age bracket will get this, but it's like a soup starter. You don't feel like a soup starter is cheating,
sourdough starter.
Yes, that's right. My husband he makes sourdough from scratch, and he is building his own sourdough starter. He's nuts and wonderful.
I'm sure like back in the day, that's probably what people thought about calculators, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's cheating.
Is it really cheating, or is it just leveraging what we have in front of us today?
Exactly.
Driving or walking. Come on, let's.
Thank God for spell check. I'd never make it otherwise.
I know.
Seriously, Google still doesn't know half the time when I'm trying to spell. I have to ask my husband so I can translate it well enough so that Google can help me spell it. So I'm just going to tell you. So I love that. Great tip. All right, Lonnie, what do you got from us? The Wanderlust man is back on the platform again. What tip do you have for the day?
Oh my gosh, I jumped ahead. I gave both of my tips earlier.
Well, you're going to have to pull something else out of your hat. I got a lot of more surprises for you guys, because I made a mistake. As human as I am, as gorgeous and wonderful as I am, still bleed red. So I didn't go through the whole run of show with you. I usually prep my clients very well. So just enjoy this show, audience, because this is real live off the cuff.
Hey, I love it. I love it. I'm one of those people that if you give me a topic, I can stand up and make a speech about it. If you make me write it, it'll take me years to do it. So I like off the cuff stuff. Again, going back, PER squared, LLS, but I think one of the important things too is the biggest tip is also, I think, really just learning, if there's any recommendation, anything that we go through, there's always going to be adversity. We look at people you have in your show, you look at us, we've overcome things, we found creative ways of doing things. This does not mean this came without struggle. We had ups and downs. There was never, if anyone has a nice linear incline path up, congratulations. Great.
How easy was it, Maria? Was it easy peasy? Just snapped your fingers and both those companies were off the road?
I wish. I'm writing a book currently on this topic. Resilience is key.
It never is. And of course, with there's a lot of great things. Maria, you talked about AI and we talked about social media, and there's some great things about it. But there's obviously some negative things that can be about it too. So it's all about how we use those things. And I think that's important too. But I think out of all of it is, the perception that we put out there on social media is everyone's doing great and all that stuff. And the reality is we're not all the time. And so if anything, if there's any tip that I can do to anybody, again, when I talk about being personable, just be personable in life in general. For anything, be kind. Understand everyone's going to have different opinions. We're so divided right now on things. And I know this is kind of, a 30,000 foot view on things versus kind of specific things that I gave earlier. But really, if we could look at those things and realize that nothing is linear for us. Everyone's going through their struggles. I'm sure if we got off of this podcast, we could all talk about like, hey, everything looks rosy, but oh my gosh, let me tell you about the 15 things that happened to me this week. That's just the way life is. And if anything through, the event world and things I think we've all gone through is have some patience, take a deep breath when things happen, try not to overreact, understand what's going on. In the event world, it's a million moving parts. I mean, we've had everything. Not only do we have weather and you have to worry about, unfortunately, have to worry about active shooters. I mean, now we have to worry about, landslides that take place and weather conditions and everything that can possibly happen. And we have to be prepared for them on event day to try to keep everybody safe. And anything and everything will happen. And you can scratch your head. I mean, we've had, a few years ago, I had a July 4th event. My operations person goes to the warehouse to get the vehicle. The vehicle got stolen. Has everything in it for the event. It's 4 hours before the event. Everything's gone. So, okay, I might have panicked a little. Because that was definitely a new one. But
that was a whopper.
we made it through. You figure it out, you regroup, you figure out a solution, and we got through it. Then afterwards, you can have that glass of wine and go, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. But absolutely. The best advice truly, outside of some of those other tips, the LLS and PER squared, is understand that things are going to happen. It's never going to be a linear progression up. But if you keep that goal sight in mind, you can get there.
That's right. Make a way. That's what I always say. Make a way. And puzzles are fun and solvable. People buy puzzles. So if you look at everything like a puzzle, then you can get excited because they're fun and solvable. So I love that. Now, before we go to Eva's tip, I just want to warn the audience, next coming is they're all going to share with us, these beautiful guests, their causes they care about, and a book not written by them that inspired their personal life or helped them grow their business. So they're going to share with us an author that they love. That's coming up. But Eva, first, could you share with us your business tip?
Yeah, so I've listened to Lonnie and to Maria both. It was like, yeah, I'm a huge advocate of AI. One of the things about AI is that you want to also I call it season it like cooking, right? We've got to put in our heart and our soul and what we understand, those kinds of things, and then have work for us, which is brilliant. And then the other piece, of course, that Lonnie, that you were saying that stuff happens, okay, people, it just happens. And if we can just remember that if we have a passion for something, we have the ability to actually have it happen. We have the ability to do it. That's law of attraction 101. And so when the obstacles show up and the challenges show up, sometimes people say, well, maybe I wasn't meant to do this. And I'm going, no, don't go there. Yes, where is your passion? Bring it back. Focus on what it is you want, how you want to feel about it. Remember the vision. And now from that place, what's just one next step? One next step. That's it. We chunk it down. And then once that ball gets growing, that momentum starts to carry you forward again. And sometimes it's to figure out what the issue is. And if it's landslides and shooters, oh my gosh, that's like, oh, you're kidding me.
Or
And
even fires in some parts of the country, you know?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Huge.
But it's just, we just chunk it down and ask yourself, what's the one next step I need to focus on right now?
I love that. I love that. So, Maria, we are going to come to you. One of the things from the very first show, from show number 1, I'm proud to say, part of the design of Profound Professionals is to not just talk about people who are industry experts doing out-of-the-box things and really being creative, but also people who are doing things that are outside the success of their own business, for their community, for the world at large, for the legacy they'll leave behind long after they're gone, things that they care about and speak to them and that are near and dear to them. So we're going to get your cause, and then we're going to come back around to you and get the book that inspired your personal life or help you grow your business, and find out if you've written a book or thinking about writing a book. So we'll do that with each of our guests next. So Maria, we're going to start with the cause. What's the cause near and dear to you?
Yeah, so the cause for me is the Betty Griffin Center here in St. Augustine. So it's for women, children, and people that just need a place to go for safety. And so I'm just so passionate about this cause. You know, I was a single mom before, and I know how much I struggled just even having, you know, a family to rely on. So I can only imagine what these, you know, women have to go through, and children. So that being said, a portion of our Lighten Our Lavender line, you know, you think about lavender and how calming it is. So proceeds of the sales go directly to the center. So I'm hoping thank you. I'm hoping to impact, you know, more, you know, throughout the United States and globally, but we have to start here in our community and then go from there.
Well, and people, no matter when you watch this, whether it's right now or 6 years from now, Mother's Day is coming for the right now of the world. But if you're watching this later, pick a holiday. There's one on the calendar. Go find a candle and go support a cause at the same time. I mean, how wonderful would that be? So we're going to come back around to you for books, but you watching, thank you for watching and hanging with us. I see some of you out there. If you could put in the comments the cause you care about, and now is a great time to hit the share button, because you just don't know who might want to share time, treasure, or talent with the causes our guests are sharing right now, or who might need the cause itself, or might be inspired to go find a cause in their community and do something good, or just do an act of kindness, all because you hit the share button. So thank you for that. Lonnie, talk to us about a cause that you care about.
Yes, definitely. Well, I mentioned earlier that I have twin daughters, and the foundation that we created is called Fetal Health Foundation, and it deals with all fetal syndromatic issues. This isn't anything pro-life or pro-choice. It's about things that happen during development of pregnancies, and it can be anything from, probably the most common thing most people have heard of is spina bifida, hypoplastic left heart syndrome. There's hydrops, which is a buildup of fluid in babies' lungs and things like that. And when you put all these fetal anomalies together, they can be over 800,000 pregnancies just in the United States every year. And sadly, we lose on average about 200 babies a day. So our organization works hard to create advocacy, awareness, work with leading medical professionals, and get families. What I say our foundation really is about is we don't want families to have to come back and say, had I only known, if I'd only known. We want to arm them with education, information, and then we do additional research, which it's incredible, some of the research that they've done on the smallest of patients. When you think about trying to operate minimally invasive, we've all seen laparoscopes and arthroscopes that are done for knees. Imagine these fetoscopies, things that are really tiny that go through the womb, and they're able to actually operate on a baby's heart inside the womb, all minimally invasive, which is, you know, next time you're eating dinner and you're cutting a pea, think about doing it in a dark environment with a tiny scope and trying to operate on it. This is things that they're able to do now. So it's pretty amazing. Because at the end of the day, I think for us, it's if any of us are, and Jessica, you said you have a plethora of children and grandchildren going on. For me, my children are my legacy. And when we were pregnant with them, all my hopes and dreams were wrapped up into them. All my future memories were wrapped up into them, thinking about the first smile and the first walk and how am I going to feed two at once, and having twins and all the things that come up with that from when we were diagnosed to having all those dreams ripped away. So we're really all about helping families and have one of a very important dream to them, which is the joy of a family.
Wow. And I love that. And we did we have one that's already in heaven that we have lost. And one of my sons, who's active duty Army now, they told me over and over, he wouldn't make it. I would die. He would die, all the things. And his lungs weren't developed enough. And I was about 8 months pregnant and had meningitis and was packed in ice. And I had a miracle occur. And then they even told me afterwards, because I had cooked him so long, literally cooked his brain, because my temperature was in the 104s, and they couldn't give me the medication I needed and all these things, right? But they told us he would be brain dead, that he wouldn't live very long afterwards, that he wouldn't, that he wouldn't develop properly. They told me all kinds of things. And he is now a leader, and he's Red Beret Special Ops. He's been protecting our country. He's led teams. He is, a leader in the organization where he is, and been promoted faster and farther than anyone they've seen in a long time. So, you just don't know what'll happen. Sometimes it's the medical miracle. Sometimes it's a miracle. There's all kinds of great things, and having hope. And I think that's part of what your organization gives, Lonnie, is it gives hope and education, and that extra support during a really challenging time for families. So thank you for doing that. How about you?
Well, if you don't mind, Jessica, if I bring out one important thing that you said in that is talking about your son, and that is the medical professional is trying to put limitations around that. And this is all applications again on life. Too often people put limitations around themselves because they think because of a situation that they can't do something. And when our daughters were born, they were born early, and they were given, there's this thing in the medical profession, especially neonatology, like to give them a adjusted age. They would be where they would be at, they're 6 months now, but they're really like 2-month-olds or something like that. And we never put those limitations around our children, and they thrive through that. So I think that's an important thing too. If you put limitations around yourself, you box yourself in.
Yeah, and I did the same thing. Like the very beginning, when I was very first pregnant with him, they wanted me to abort him because they said that I might die. I said, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And so I said no to that. And and then when he was hospitalized for this first month of life, and he had jaundice. And finally, I kind of mom napped him, so to speak. I took him on the roof into the sunshine because he wasn't getting enough vitamin D. Do you know he was able to go home the next day because them putting him under the regular lights and the stuff at the hospital wasn't working. And my instinct, my intuition, Eva, you'll appreciate this, was I'm going to take him up and sit on. And the roof was set up like a garden. It had benches and things. It wasn't like I was on the roof and going to jump or anything. I just wanted to hold my baby there, and I held the blanket open and let him get a little light and little sunshine, and healed him right up. So you just don't know. Now, I would tell you, we are not giving you medical, legal, financial, or any other kind of advice. Go see a doctor, get medical care, get professionals. We're sharing our stories, things that have happened and worked for us, and what we think and feel. And you're welcome to your think and feel opinions as well. So I have to throw those disclaimers out there as we are live streaming on social media. But Eva, could you share with us your cause, please?
Absolutely. And for me, it's the Milo Foundation, and they are a no-kill organization that are which I love for that, that they take in all these homeless pets throughout. This happens to be just here in California, dogs, cats, other animals, and they will keep them as long as they need to. They have a huge sanctuary to take care of these pets until they are ready for adoption. Sometimes they're there for life, but they're well taken care of. And they have about 200 or more animals at any given time that they're taking care of. And they rehab them. They help socialize these animals. They take care of them medically. And so both of my babies have come from them. So they have a very special place in my heart, that's for sure.
Well, and we've been talking about healing a lot in this show. And I'd say animals have this natural gift to give healing and love and support. And they're used in a lot of therapies, and they heal the most important disease I think our country has, or one of many. I'm not going to argue about which one's most important, but one of many very important diseases, I think, is loneliness. That can really suck you down into lots of other health issues, feeling alone, and pets love so unconditionally. So beautiful cause for you to share. So next we're going to go around the room and you guys are going to share with us a book that inspired your personal life or helped you grow your business, not written by you. And you're going to share with us if you've written any books or if you're thinking about writing some books. And then what happens. So we're going to talk about how we can get you who are watching, if you're an industry expert, on the show. So we'll start with Maria. Maria, can you share with us a book that inspired your personal life or helped you grow the business, not written by you?
Yes. So first and foremost, I read the Bible every single day. My faith is a big proponent of my success and the Lord and my Savior, Jesus Christ. And for a while, I really kept that secret. And in my article for the top 15 entrepreneurs in MSN News, I really shared it because I cannot gatekeep that. So that is my book. I want to see if you guys know this book, Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Okay, cool. I'm like, just because I'm a millennial, I love a good hard copy book. And I read that in college and I cannot tell you, I recommend everybody to read that book as well. Oh my gosh, it's a game changer in sales and just how to be presentable. And so that really helped change me. And yes, I am working on a book. I'm still working on the title and things like that, but I really want to share some of my mistakes that I've made in the past 2 years and the tools that I'm doing and just really help inspire millennials like me become an entrepreneur and how do they do that and how I went about it. So
she's not going to share her mistakes, everyone. She's going to share the experiences where she got the most training and learning and growth, and that actually will profit her more than anything else as she continues to expand and have abundance in her companies. So that's what she'll be sharing in that book, in my opinion.
Thank you. I love it.
All right. So Lonnie, can you share with us a book that inspired your personal life or helped you grow your business?
Yeah, definitely. But real quickly, Maria, that's fantastic you mentioned Dale Carnegie, because when I was in high school, I was in a program called Junior Achievement, which is completely different than it is today. And during the summer, they actually sent us to Dale Carnegie training. So I went through the entire thing, read the books, How to Win Friends, Influence People, and then became a graduate assistant with it. So I haven't heard many people mention Dale Carnegie in this day and age as much as back then. So it's fantastic that you brought that out. So I'd have to actually say that changed a lot of things about me. But one in particular that I love, especially if you're thinking about marketing or just the way things shake things up in your business, is John Spolestra. And he was a sports general manager for different teams, minor league and major league and stuff. But he has a great book called Marketing Outrageously Redux. And it's how to increase your revenue by staggering amounts. But it's really, what I love about it is he takes a very interesting approach on how you market to people in unconventional ways that gets their attention. Again, it's creating an experience for them. And it's a fantastic book. It's an easy read. Definitely go out and check that out. And
okay, wait, is it all filled with sportsy stuff? And am I going to understand it? Because I love marketing books like candy, but I want to make sure I read something I can relate to and I can understand.
Oh my gosh. So Jessica, if you like marketing books, you will love this. Love this, because I ate this up like crazy. He's got amazing stories. Even though he does the sports stuff, he just talks about ways that he's used unconventional things. One I love is the cover of the book has a sumo wrestler dunking a basketball, because he was in charge of this terrible minor league basketball team that got nobody out there. And he's like, our team sucks, so I got to create something fun. So I'm going to have sumo wrestlers come out and play basketball during halftime and see what happens. And all of a sudden, everyone caught on and everyone started attending the game.
I'm totally reading the book. I'm in. You've got me. You convinced me. I love it, Lonnie. How about you? Is the book in your future? Have you thought about it? Have you written one?
Oh my gosh. Well, I if I could stand up and do a speech about it, not a problem. I would love to actually write a book someday. The challenge is having enough time and to sit down and write it. My daughters are fantastic.
Did you not hear the AI advice?
Yeah, I was going to say, Lonnie, you have AI now. Just talk to it. Really.
Yeah, I know. Maria, I'll be in touch with you. I need to learn how to use the AI a little bit better from the millennial generation to the older generation to figure out how to best use it. But yes, I'm sure someday there'll be some type of book or a couple in play. Someday
a book is coming. I love it. And I think one of the stories you must share is the day that the vehicle that had all the event stuff in it was missing. That is one you need to talk about. All right. So before we get Eva's final book, We are going to talk about how you can get on the show. But after that, I won't let them get away without a final thought. Everyone's going to share with us before we say goodbye a piece of information or inspiration to inspire us. Now, if you are watching and you're thinking, wait, I'm an industry expert, I could inspire someone's personal life, help them grow, or help them grow their business is so much bigger than they are today, I should be on that show. I'm going to say totally yes, you should. So reach out to us and our team, and my team will help get you squared away. I will make sure you have all the links you need to get yourself scheduled. Now, if you are an industry expert, don't be selfish. We're nice people. Be someone's hero, be mine too, and share the information with those other industry experts so we can feature them as well, and you'll be their hero and ours. Now, let's get Eva's book before we move into our inspiration section.
Okay. Well, I love marketing and business books as well. And I was just trying to think of what's just one main one. But, I have to go back to Asking It Is Given by Esther Hicks. Ooh. That really was the book that turned everything around.
That's one I don't know. I love it when I hear one I didn't know. Yes. definitely
have to check that out for sure. And of course, that was what created the most transformational turning point for us when it came to turning the business around. When we had the business. As far as my own books, I wrote The Feel Good Guide to Prosperity. Mm-hmm. And then I co-authored a book with Jack Canfield called Life Lessons for Mastering the Law of Attraction, the 7 essential ingredients to living a life of law of attraction.
Yeah, that is a good way, a really good way to live. I tell you, I'm going to give a spoiler alert, and I'll change my ending for today. But the last few months, really heavily, but all my life, the first part, I've always, in all situations, choose joy. Even if the car is missing with the signs in it, I choose joy. I choose joy in all things. I choose to get excited and love puzzles because they're fun and solvable. And recently I've added to that, choose, decide, commit, meaning, are you the eggs or the bacon and the breakfast? Eggs are involved. Bacon is committed. It gave its life. And then take action. And then finally, this accountability. In the last 3 years, I've had a daily accountability partner and then separate additional accountability partners weekly for other specific things in my life. I have to tell you, being wrapped in that much support and accountability, it makes it really hard to fall off the track and get off mark from what your goals are when you have that many people. I mean, because if you disappear, I've got like 6 people who say, hello, where are you? You haven't, we didn't meet up for our call, or we didn't do your goals, or you weren't at the book club, or you weren't, so I've got so much, I almost feel like it's a hammock of accountability protection. I have a whole community I have built that holds me like a hammock in accountability for my personal life goals as well as my business goals. So, so I want to make sure that you guys make sure our team has the names of all these books and authors, because Lonnie, yours is a book I'd never heard of either. So I have to add them to my this year's book list. Ooh. And we're going to be creating an ultimate book list of all the 1,000 industry experts we featured by the end of the year to release to the public as a directory book of all the guests featured and the books they've recommended and the books they're writing or have written. So that will be a lot of fun. And so we'll make sure we get that. Now, before we say goodbye, I promised the audience that we would get a final piece of information or inspiration from each of you. But first, I want to say how lovely it's been to have you all as guests on the show. I hope you've enjoyed being here as much as I've enjoyed having you.
Thank you.
I'm going to say all the nodding and smiling is a yes. What do you think, audience? Yes, I think it is. We haven't lost the audience or the guests yet. No one's fallen asleep. We're good. This is a very successful show. All right, Maria, give us a final thought, a piece of information or inspiration.
I would like to say just start. I come from very humble beginnings. I lived in, poverty, frankly, and I put myself through college while my dad was dying with cancer. And then, as I think you can hear my screaming baby, but, and then I became a single mother, when I least expected it. And so, and I don't have an MD, I don't have, any credentials really in my name. People are listening to me. So if I can do it, you can do it. So just start.
That message was for you, Lonnie. Just start your book. What are you waiting for? Just start. I love that. All right, Lonnie, what's the final piece of information or inspiration you have for the audience as we close out the show?
So the inspirational quote is, opportunity is not an entitlement, nor a success charity. And what that means by that is, the reason I'm kind of a wanderlust, I'm an example of this, is I've had many opportunities, open doors, many opportunities that have been available to me, and I've walked through those doors. I haven't waited for them to open. I haven't waited for people to drag me through. I've seen an opportunity and I've taken advantage of those. And some have led to areas that I didn't want to go much further down, and some have led to some amazing things. So I think we've gotten a little bit lazy in our society that we feel like all these opportunities are supposed to be just given to us, and you have to work for them. And if you look at any successful person and whatever they define success, it wasn't just one thing that they did. They tried many different things. Failure was a part of it, and they tried many different things and learned a lot of different areas. And Eva and Marie are both examples of that. IBM, figuring out that there wasn't candles this way, also figuring out there was a consulting angle in this. It's trying many different things. So again, the opportunity is not an entitlement, nor a success charity.
And I will agree and disagree with you, Lonnie, because I think that's a beautiful thought and a great piece of information. And I think the work comes in on the inside of us. And I was going to say, Maria, after hearing some of your backstory that you just shared there, totally read Millionaire Mindset. You will love it. Do the work. And that's where the work comes. I think when we do the work on the inside, all the opportunities and success, you're just then ready for your abundance. Your arms are open. All your windows and doors are wide open to receive the money, the knowledge, the people, the resources that is meant in your plan and your path. All of those do come oh so easily. I think the work, in my opinion, is on the inside. We do have to work on relationships, but that again starts with us, right? We have to be healthy enough to be good relationship material, whether your business relationships or personal. And in those relationships, so many opportunities, just easily the doors open. So I hope that I didn't offend you, Lonnie, but I agree and disagree with you just a smidgen. I just believe things come in an easy and relaxed manner and in a healthy and positive way for the greater good of all. I just really believe that when we work on ourselves, and that's where I believe I agree with you, is that's the work, is when we work on ourselves, all the rest so comes. So Eva, how about you?
Oh my gosh, you just quoted one of my favorite people, Catherine Ponder, in an easy and relaxed manner, in a healthy and positive way.
The greater good of all.
Timing for the highest good of all. I absolutely love that. And for me, it's where we are today, and it feels like everything is so divided. And just to remember that we all come from the same place. And for me, it's like, whatever the question, love is the answer.
Yes, and it is the highest frequency energy, and we are all energy and all connected, in my opinion. And everyone is, of course, totally respected and entitled to their beliefs and opinions. Thank you guys so very much for being on the show today. Thank you, audience, with all of our love, for sharing, for being here with us, for supporting us, for sharing this with others who may be inspired or supported or helped in some way, for sharing it for other guests who may be on the show. So I'm going to wrap us up. I am your host, Jessica Koch, and this has been another Profound Professionals, featuring industry experts from all over the world who help improve your personal life and help grow your business. And I'm going to say, pay attention, listen to your community and to your audience, to your family, to your relationships, what they need. One of my favorite children's movies, all the kids that we have, Robots, one of the quotes is, see a need, fill a need. And as always, I'll say, be kind to yourself out there and be kind to each other. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.